Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody doing today? I have some tea here, so sorry, you can probably hear me swallowing. Hello, Francine. How is everybody's day going? Mine is good. I got to Costco and it wasn't too crazy. It was a little crazy though. Hello, Tamara. It was a little bit busy at Costco. I definitely don't want to be going there in December, but I needed a few things, so it was relatively painless in and out. Hello, Linda. And it is very overcast today, so I hope there's enough light coming in. I'm sitting right beside my window. And sometimes it's just, if there's too much light, then you get a glare, so at least there's not that. Hello, Pam. Hey, Margaret Erica. Have you guys seen this stamping foam? The first time I played with it was last night. This is the Simon Hurley Create, so it's put out by Ranger. And it is really cool. So I'm excited to show you this. There's lots, like we're just gonna do a little bit with it today just to kind of get a little teaser. I had a few different things that I was playing around with featuring and I couldn't decide, so I just thought, you know what, we'll just do a little bit of each thing and maybe we'll come back to it at some point and do a little bit more, but at least it gives you an idea. The stamping foam, super cool, really love it. It's a huge pack that you get, so you get 4 of these and you can just keep reusing them. They're like a foam that you heat. I think, Tamara, you have these, right? So we're gonna play with that. And we've got some of these really cute little gingerbread agenda guys from Mama Elephant. And these are so cute. So I think there's lots you can do, scene stuff with this. You can do, if you had a bunch of little windows, they could be peeking out of it. There's really so much. You can feature some. I love that they have lots of different ones. Like there's the guy with the little milk and the cookies, and there's the gumdrops and marshmallows, and this guy's sitting in the little cup. This guy has the balloon, so you get a lot of stamps, and then the dies as well are in the shop. So for my dies, I decided to stamp a piece of tissue paper because sometimes, otherwise you're taking a long time trying to figure out which die goes with which stamp, and then I just laid them on and coordinated it. So then we have the Everything Nice, which is the sentiments, and I really like that they have these scripty sentiments, and then they almost have like this bubble outline so that you get this really cool die cut sentiment. I like that look. And the Slim Highlands, really like this. So Mama Elephant has a bunch of different slim die cuts, and there's ones that have, some have the frame, and then you have the separate like snowy hills and the separate clouds or whatever. And this one, I like that it's kind of all one panel, so you can put it together. You can, layer them. You can put it together like it's a kind of a die cut inlay piece. There's a lot you can do with it, and the frame cuts out separately, so we're going to play with that stamping foam and the frame. And then we've got this crystal glaze. You guys are gonna love this. It's amazing. So it'll be fun just to kind of get a little taste of, you know, what these things do. Frosted crystal. It is an embossing powder that's frosted, not glittery, but frosted, and it's really cool. And we're gonna play with the Vicky Bouton stencil. So this is the stencil from the Warm Wishes. I didn't even look to see if it was in the shop. I know that there were quite a few, so you can check and see if there are any in there. This one has the 3, and it's the Warm Wishes stencil. And then we've got lots of little embellishments because this is a little shaker card. So you can see that shiny, shimmery crystal glaze. That's what's on top of that. And then we've got the frosted crystal. Yeah, lots of crystal here. Frosted crystal on the sentiment. Hello, Val. All right, let me show you a few new things that are coming into the shop, and then we will make our card. My throat is a little tiny bit scratchy today, and it's just kind of that tickle feeling. So on the off chance that I have some kind of a coughing fit, I'm going to turn the camera off and I will come back. So I'm just throwing that out there so that it won't happen, right? All right, let me move this out of the way, because you know how it is, like it's always the worst time. Alrighty, let's see. We've got lots of goodies. Now, some of this stuff just hasn't been put in the shop, but it will be in there, I'm sure, later today. And you can check that out. So here we have, this stuff is really cute. This is Waffle Flowers shaker. So they have a shaker circle die, and the circle comes with 2 circles so that you can, hello Susan, so that you can create a little frame. And then you've got these shaker covers, and I'm trying to see how many is in here. I was trying to look on the Waffle Flowers site yesterday and their site was down. I think it's 4. So you've got the shaker covers, so you would create your frame. Then you would put this underneath your frame, and then you have this super easy shaker card that you're just going to be able to insert your whatever kind of, you know, embellishments or sequins and have a really cute shaker card. It's not super high, like it's probably about the height of a shaker that you would make. So really cute. This one says happy birthday. You can have these little dots that you can have for, you know, you can cut them out of metallic cardstock or glitter and then add those to your shaker. And then this little piece, you know what, I don't know what it is. So I'm sure that they probably have this on the Waffle Flower site. And like I said, I just, when I looked yesterday, it wasn't open, so, or it was down. But it looks to me like it might fit under here, like almost like a snow globe thing, or it could be something completely different. Maybe you just cut it out and put it inside. I think you can do whatever you want with it. This one is the Shaker Circle Christmas add-on. Very cute. If we open this up, we can just see the whole thing. So you've got a magnetic sheet in here for your dies to go on, and these are all cut apart, which is kind of nice, hey? I don't mind cutting dies apart, but I do appreciate when they come pre-cut. So this one, definitely great for your Christmas snow globe type cards. So you've got the little scene, And this has the trees in the house and this little snow. And again, I'm not exactly sure without looking at their projects, but it would definitely be easy to find out. This looks like a hanger for an ornament. Could be like a base. This could be like a base or something. Then you've got the ornament topper, the bow, really cute. And then the Merry Christmas in a really beautiful script. So that will work with that. And then you'd get the shaker covers and make your own little shakers. And then they also have, and there might, once these get loaded into the store, there is probably going to be extra things that I just don't have here. Oh, so this is the Slim Shaker Circle die. And I wonder, I'm just gonna kind of see if, I don't think that, so I don't, this isn't specifically coordinated for this, but this will fit on your shaker, sorry, on your slimline, I believe. Slimlines are a little bit thinner, and so it's nice to have this smaller set, and I really like the little dotted edge that it has on it. And then you've got all of the nested sizes, and then you can create shakers with those as well. Again, it could possibly fit that shaker, but I don't think so, but I can research that and let you know. Okay, then we've got the shaker heart die. So I'm thinking with this, there's probably the shaker covers that are either coming or will be in the shop later today. And you've got the little hearts with love, and of course hearts are great for anything. And then we have the stars. I really like stars. I think that they're great for Christmas or birthdays or anything really. So lots of little accessory dies that you can use and mix and match. Stars are really great, especially these little star dies. They will cut anywhere on your paper. So if you're making a card and you want to add a die cut star element, you can do that. It says make a wish, so fun for birthdays. Okay, so that is the waffle flower. Then honeybee. Honeybee really has some cute stuff. This one here is the layering vintage ornaments. So there's 2 stencils, and let me just take these out to show you because I think I may have to use these. These are just gorgeous. I love the look of vintage ornaments, and I love that they've made all these different options. So it looks, this is your, they're numbered 1 and 2. So this is number 1, and you've got, looks kind of like some of the bases. You've got the little things that you can decorate with, and of course you can use inks with these. You can layer on pastes. You could do the deco foil and add foil to it. And then you have this one, which it looks like more ornaments. So I would say these are one set of ornaments with different ways to decorate them. Of course, you could probably coordinate them. That one looks like that could coordinate and layer. These look really fun. And then you've got all these different designs that you could layer on. So you've got those really pretty vintage looking ornaments. I would say, you know, you could look on Pinterest and find some color combinations or some vintage ornament ideas, and then kind of build your card or your ornaments from there. So those are really, really cute. Then this one is the Crystal Kaleidoscope, and I like how it goes from you know, it's a thicker kind of line right there to thinner, and you're going to see we're going to use the stamping foam to press into that snowflake stencil. This would be really pretty pressed into this, but this is beautiful. And I think, you know, you could do it whatever color. You could do sprays with glitter. Very pretty. Sandy said new stuff should be visible now. Okay, so if you had your eye on something, you can pop over now or after and pop it in your cart. This is I love this one. I love coffee stuff anyways, but Mugs and Kisses. So this one here, you've got this beautiful die set that you can just die cut everything. You can, you know, die cut either out of white or out of colored cardstock. You can then just sit and layer and play. So you've got the insert, that's the coffee that can go in there, or hot cocoa. And then the whipped cream, of course, which is super cool. You've got snowflakes that you could decorate and hearts that you can decorate the mugs. These would be really cute, I think, too, like if you monogrammed them, if you had, you know, wrote in someone's initial, or if you had a stamp with an alphabet on it and put that in there. I'm just going to take a drink, guys. And you've got the little marshmallows, candy canes. I think this one is like really, like, mugs are great all year round. Coffee's great all year round. I love the little spoon. And then this coordinates with it. So this one is Hug in a Mug stamp, and then Hug in a Mug die. And then this one is the Mugs and Kisses. So then you've got all these sentiments. I love you more than hot chocolate, or, you know, and then you've got Mugs and Kisses, love you more than coffee or tea. And then all these really great inserts that you can stamp on to that piece that's going to fit in there to be your coffee. These would be great, like embossed with white, or even if you did them in white and then put that frosted crystal on them to look like whipped cream, that would be really cute. And then you even have the little dies, so if you wanted to, you could just die cut out of glitter or white or whatever and add that to that. And then you've got all that bubble kind of outline that I mentioned that I really love. So all of your little words, you can cut those out and pop them up. I really like this. I think they did a really great job on that. Now, yeah, they are very cute, hey? And hello, Kelly and Nancy and Monica. Sorry if I missed anybody. I don't always see the names, but some of them I do. Paper Rose, of course, has beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I have 4 new stamps here right now. Sorry, like I said, my throat is a little scratchy, so I'm trying to just sip so I don't have any kind of a coughing fit. And fair warning, if I do cough, I'm going to turn the camera off and I will come back. Okay, so we've got this one, really great, Merry Christmas. Love this fonts that they've used. This one is called Vintage Merry Christmas. Does have a very vintagey feel to it. This one I think is really, really cute. I love the antlers on it. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. This would be a really great card. You know, if you have a background, and like you're gonna see, we're gonna do a couple backgrounds just to show you with that stamping foam. And then if you had this layered on top, you could do some really easy Christmas, New Year cards. This is Merry Christmas with antlers. Then this one here, Merry Christmas, in a different font there. And this is the Merry Christmas Blocky. So it's the blocky font. And those, I think the block fonts where you have lots of space, those are really fun for any of those fun embossing powders or glittery embossing powders that you have. or that frosted crystal over a colored stamp would show up really nicely. And this one as well is really great. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And that's what it's called. We wish you a Merry Christmas. And then you've got the little ornaments. You have the little sparkly things. All those very, very great. And they always have such a great price point as well. Now we have, this is fun, snow globe. So this one here is from My Favorite Things, and you've got the globe, then you have the base, so your circle is going to be your globe, and then your base, and then you have this little piece here, which I think fits on the base, if I was guessing. And then you've got two different kinds of snowy hills that can go in the background, and then you layer on whatever you'd like to layer on in there. They have some options here. So this one here is, this is just called Snow Globe. And then this one here is Snow Globe Accessories. So cute. Look at the little trees. And you could use these for anything. So definitely pairing them, you know, if you cut these things out and then you had a little, you know, Merry Christmas stamp, super easy. You've got these little string of lights. I'm not exactly sure what this is, if it might be just some holes that are cut, but they always have great examples on their YouTube and their blog, and in their shop too. And then you've got the little house with the roof. So that's really cute. And those will all fit into your snow globe. And then I don't have the stamp right here with me, but this is the snow globe singles. And I think the stamp is in the shop. And looks like you've got a tree, you've got some strings of lights, a couple trees, 3 trees. This, I would say, was a bird, and then you've got Santa, an elf maybe, snowman, and a bear with a gift. That's my guess. I guess you guys can check it when you're in the store and see if I was right. And then there's the Merry Christmas tree, which is beautiful. I love the scripty font, and that is a great one as well for being like a focal image on a card, quick and easy, on a nice background. You know, you could emboss it with some gold, would look really pretty. And then lastly here we have the Tim Holtz. These are the seasonal sketch dies. So these are really beautiful. This shows you what you get, and you get the outlines plus the images. So you can see the background leaf, that's a full leaf, and then you get the outline, which you can layer on top or to the side. And the same thing with the berries and the poinsettia. So really beautiful. They've done some with the gold outline, and then, or you could do the colored cardstock in a coordinating color. And those are really, really pretty. So lots of fun with those new goodies. And as always, you can just check the website under the November new product, and everything is going to show up there. All right, so our card today, we are going to make this cute card. Hello, Janet, how are you? And hello, Monica and Lorna, welcome. So here is the card. And I've gone ahead and put a few little shaker things. This isn't a huge, I didn't make it very tall for the shaker. I just wanted a little bit of dimension, but we're using these really fun micro beads, and they move around, and I love the sound that they make. So this is really fun. Thanks, Jana. I'm glad that you're great. I am good. I just have a little bit of a scratchy throat. So I don't know what that is. Like, other than that, I feel fine. Just that tickle. All right, so we've got a stencil. We've got a background that we've cut with all these pieces, and that's using the Mama Elephant Slim Highlands. This is new in the shop as well. So I cut out this die twice, and then I cut out the little snowy caps. And we have a piece of acetate because we're going to put on that really cool crystal glaze. So this is from Sizzix. From Sizzix. I'm going to show you how that works. All right, so let's do that first so we can kind of set it aside. It doesn't take too long to dry. And I have one that's already done, but I wanted to show you how you do it. So I've got my stencil here. Again, this is the Vicki Boutin Warm Wishes, if that's still available. I am not sure. Usually she has 2 different stencil sets with 3 in them each. I know the Fernwood stencil is out now, which is, those stencils are beautiful. All right, so I've cut this piece of acetate, and the size of this card is 8.5 by 3.5. So I cut out, I decided to make my card base the same size as the frame so that I could use that 8.5 inch width and cut it to 7 inches. So I'm taking my stencil, and I decided that I wanted to have the little snowy circles, and then just giving it a little bit of a tape on there just to hold it. And I'm just going to place it on here so I don't have a whole bunch on my work surface to clean up. So I put on the crystal glaze, and then I waited for it to dry and moved it over, but I'm going to show you how this goes on, and then we have a dry one. Hello, Angela. So this is really fun, and Sizzix actually has some really great videos on YouTube. I just watched a couple yesterday, and they do a lot with this. So they use this to stencil on glass, on a glass candle holder. And it's really beautiful that you can put it on paper. We're going to do it on our little hilltops. And you can do it on whatever you want, but it's really, really cool. So I grab it with the back of the palette knife, and I just spread it across first and kind of get just a coat on there. And it has a texture, so you can, this one is clear, Crystal Glaze is translucent, and it has glitter in it. So whatever's left over, I'm going to scrape onto the side of the jar. And then I've got this stencil pal, which is a flat stenciling type thing that you just pull across, and it really smooths out anything that you're putting on, texture pastes or glitter pastes. So you can do this over top of anything that's been inked. Then I would just, I found it really easy to clean up. I just wiped off my palette knife and that stencil pal. And then I'm going to pull it off. So you could do so many fun things with this. I'm going to show you it in a second, but I would say you definitely want to either throw it in a little tub of some soapy water or give it a wipe. And I found just by wiping it, it was pretty easy that it just came off. Hello, Sheila. So I just used a wipe both sides of it, and I'll probably just throw it in some soapy water after, but it seemed to come off pretty easily. And I do have a rag here, so we can give it a little bit of a wipe. That's always the issue during the live. And usually I would just throw it in some soapy water, but I want to use this stencil when we use the stamping foam. So I just want to make sure it's cleaned off. Okay. So here is a look. Then you would set this aside to dry. And because it's a slimline card, it's longer, and then we would do the other side. So look how glittery this is, and this dries like this. I just stuck my finger in it, so don't do that, or something in it. You can see how beautiful, and you've got this texture, so we'll set that to the side. You have this bumpy texture that's really glittery. So we're also going to do our little snowy caps, and I found it easiest to grab a piece of typing paper. I don't know, does anybody call it typing paper anymore? So I just have some adhesive, and I'm just going to stick that on there just to hold it steady. And I just used my finger. Hi, Jackie, thanks. I just need another drink. All right, so I have a little bit on my finger. Let's zoom in a little bit. And I liked the look of just the dabbing. So you don't need a ton. You just cover it and then dab it till you get just a neat kind of textured look. So you can see it's not as thick as some of the pastes, but it still has a thickness to it. I'm just gonna wipe that off. And we'll set that aside and let it dry. You can see how it has a little bit of thickness dimension to it. Hello, Ellie. So let's set that aside just to dry. And cover this. I like that they have this little plastic cover and it fits right in. And then everything is going to stay nice and juicy. All right, then we're going to do some ink blending. And I cut the die cut twice, like I said, because some of the things I wanted to be popped up a little bit. So here we have a background piece that I cut to 3.5 by 8.5. I glued on that extra frame because the frame, this one we are going to pop up. This one I wanted to have just for placement so that I could fit everything in here. So this one's going to stay just plain because it's just a layer underneath. And we're just going to put this in, and this is just like piecing it. You could cut these in all kinds of different colors. You keep learning things from me. I'm glad, Ellie. I think sharing things that we kind of figure out along the way definitely is fun. Okay, and then we're going to put in our sky, but we're going to ink blend our sky. And then I think I'll put these pieces in at the end. I just want to make sure that everything's glued in there properly. So our sky here, again, I found it easier to kind of this is going to be inside the card or on top of the card. So it doesn't matter if we have a little bit of adhesive and it's not strong enough that it's, you know, gonna stick forever. And here's our little mountains. I really love these mountains and the little snowy caps that are on them. So we have our Kitsch Flamingo and we have Salvage Patina. That's going to be the sky, the background. And then we have Speckled Egg, and these are all the oxides, and that's going to be the mountains, because I thought it was kind of a nice gray blue. I have some Gina K brushes. There are several different types of brushes in the shop. So let's take the Kitsch Flamingo. And that's going to be the bottom part, and you can see just, I didn't tape it on super well, but just having it on there keeps it steadier and it's easier to ink. So the key to inking is to just take your time, really. So you can go back and forth, and when you layer the oxides, they're quite easy to blend. But sometimes you just have to, you know, build up the color. And we don't need this super dark either. And I just have to keep drinking tea because I can just feel that tickle in my throat. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to turn it off and come back.